Good evening, everybody. All right. Tonight, again, we've got Jeff Gibby with us, which is always a good training session because I'm often asked which are the best scanning softwares, and I put MetaStock right up on top there for a couple of reasons. One, because I think Jeff just told me they've got over 100 different exchanges they have feeds for, and they've got so many good technical indicators that they've got available that if you're really looking for setting up your own scanning criteria, there isn't anything on MetaStock that you can't find that won't improve your trading. It was yesterday. All right. Missed it. Must have missed it in the rain. All right, so MetaStock has a lot of our scans already built in, and that's what I'll let Jeff do. But as you know, we've got the 12 major signals that you can identify and the patterns that you can identify or have scanned. Or you don't have to scan the whole universe. You can set up your universe with just the stocks that you want to trade. So if you're an options trader, you may only want to trade stocks that are trading more than 1 million shares a day. If you're looking at stocks less than $1, you can set up your scans for that. MetaStock will work with TC2000 data, but it's going the opposite direction. That you can use TC2000, but MetaStock has so much more capabilities. I think TC2000 only has capabilities of running U.S. stock indexes, whereas if you're trading Canadian stocks or European stocks, Asian stocks, MetaStock take care of that. So the nice thing about the built-in indicators is you can find the signals and patterns that you're looking for doing just even scanning for what's going on in the major indexes. So the Dow right now, as we can see, has had some bullish signals, and today it did a bullish signal, a bullish engulfing signal. The NASDAQ, the same scenario, a left-right combo today. And why is this significant? Well, we can see that they couldn't close below the T-line. The uptrend remains in progress. So the indicators that we can put on our scanning are very simple. You're looking for the signals, like the Morningstar signal. You can add that you're looking for Morningstar signals in the oversold condition and at major support levels. That's why Amazon in our can scan for a pattern. And Jim, can you help Vic? I guess. Is everybody else's sound all right? All right. So, okay. All right, okay. So, here's where you can scan for patterns. There's an Amazon. Look at kind of the fry pan bottom, then the Morningstar signal right on the 50, which told us we're at least heading for this direction. Same scenario. We've been trading ALGN in the options room. Here's your Morningstar signal, right smack dab on the 50-day moving average. There's your J-hook. And there's your breakout. So because of the visual aspects of candlestick analysis, you can track down which ones have had bullish reversals, and you can track down where a breakout situation might occur. So seeing that this was closing right at this resistance level last night, we were buying calls going into the close because what was our risk reward? If they opened lower, then this was kind of a double top. You closed out with a small uh, loss. If this was a breakout, you had prospects of making some big profits. So because of the visual aspects of candlesticks, we can scan for what we call our strong signals, like the best friend signal. A doji gap up is your best friend. The other, or 2 days ago, yesterday, we got into wicks because there was your doji gap up, best friend, coming out of a fry pan bottom off the 50. We were buying calls right here. As you can imagine, the first target being filled up here at the gap, we've got some excellent profits in that trade. So what we're essentially looking for is the pattern setup and the signals. Kind of a Morningstar signal right in the middle of this fry pan bottom. Again, that's our dimple. So where do we want to buy signals? We want to buy the signals when the stochastics are down in the oversold area. Where are we looking to buy patterns? When the stochastics are probably pushing the overbought area. And where do we want to see a pattern breakout? We can visually see where the pattern has started. So, again, this is the visual analysis of what happens in human nature that the Japanese rice traders have provided for us. I mean, with 400 years of not back testing, but actual use. So, where is it a logical place to be buying a fry pan bottom? Not here or here or here. Here at the breakout, telling us there's now a lot of activity coming into that new trend. So if we're trading the big stocks, you can always scan to find the best price movements or the signals. Look at the bullish Harami a while back on Netflix. Look where we are stochastics-wise. Look what happens the next day. So if you add up everything on this analysis, you've got a bullish Harami, right smack dab on the 50-day moving average in the oversold area, and they gap it up the next day. What's that tell us? That not only has that bullish Harami told us the selling stopped, but the next day they told us they've come in with a great force, which is exactly what we're looking for. If we can find a candlestick buy signal, a potential reversal signal, in the oversold area on a major support level, and they gap it up through the T-line, what's that tell us? We have identified immediately when it's time to start buying that we're in the next price move. You can use this any place or on any trading entity because this candlestick signals are universal no matter what you're trading, whether you're trading stocks, bonds, currencies, futures, tulip bulbs, anything that has fear and greed in it. We're looking for what's happening in human nature. So there's another one where they did a bullish Harami right smack dab on the 50-day moving average, stochastics in the oversold area. Where do you want to be buying? As soon as you see them gapping it up and moving in the right direction. So that puts us in a situation right now with DLPH. Look where the bullish Harami occurred last week. Now look what's happening. So if this opens positive tomorrow, is that a high probability trade setup? Certainly is, because we've already got the buy signal. We got stochastics starting to come back up. If they start bringing this back up through the T-line, where's our next potential target from here? More than likely, if you draw a little trend line here, that's your target. It works just as well identifying when there's a major sell signal, like a bearish engulfing signal, stochastics heading down, just confirming that it's time to start going short, or a bearish flutter kicker signal. Why is this relevant? Well, we can identify or be prepared for this type of signal setup because if we're in an uptrend and they gap down the next day and do a doji, And look where they did this doji, below the previous day's open. What do we know about the doji? This is as simple as putting all your ABCs together. We have a doji that's gapped down below the previous day's low. What's our doji rule? They're going to be moving in the direction of how they open after the doji. So if they start trading this down, what's it telling us? First of all, it's telling us the T-line's not acting as support anymore. Secondly, it's telling us we got a potential bearish doji sandwich, not a bearish doji sandwich, bearish flutter kicker, which we know is one of your strongest sell signals. Basically, it's your kicker signal with a little flutter in between. If you took that flutter out, so that's the type of thing that if you're scanning at night, you're looking for these type of setups to tell you when you've got a high probability trade starting to come into play. That's not what I do with it. Oh, yes. So we're looking for pattern scans. Again, the benefits for pattern scans is that all boats are going to rise on a rising tide. What we're looking for are the boats that are rising a lot faster than that rising tide. So if we can identify the fry pan bottom and we can identify the J-hook, what do we suspect about this next move of this J-hook? It's probably going to be the same magnitude as the uptrend created by the fry pan bottom breakout. That's why we call it the classic. Because it's got a fry pan bottom, we have expectations, a strong price move. Got a J-hook. What's a J-hook? Needs a prerequisite of a strong price move. Now we'll get ready for the next price move. So knowing what patterns to look for allows us to take advantage of entry strategies that's going to create a high probability direction, number one, and a high probability of a very strong price move in that new direction. So again, we're looking for the boats that are rising in a rising tide. We're just looking for the boats that are going to rise a heck of a lot faster than a slow rising tide. So if I can see a pattern setup and then look at the left-right combo right here at the 50, right here at the breakout, what's that give us? Gives us a lot of evidence that this is a place to be buying because you'll be confirming your left-right combo, you'll be confirming your fry pan bottom, and you'll be confirming the fact that they broke through the 50-day moving average. Anytime we see this type of series setup, series of dojis, and your inverted hammer, bullish confirmation, what's a doji tell you? I'm asking all these rhetorical questions in case there's people in here that don't know what a doji tells you. It pretty much tells you there's indecision. So if one doji means indecision, that usually means something is changing in investor sentiment. If one doji means indecision, a series of dojis means greater indecision. So some of the pieces of information that we know improve our probabilities, look at our inverted hammer. What do we know about an inverted hammer? We know that if it opens positive and trades positive after an inverted hammer, you've probably got a 95% probability or greater that you're going to be heading positive. And if you add the fact that you had a series of dojis, which usually tells you when the longer the series of dojis, the more the strength of the new trend, this all just adds up to being, this is a perfect time to start buying on positive trading. A left-right combo. For you new folks, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we went through a full-day Saturday training session showing which combinations of signals produce the highest probability reversals. A lot of people ask, well, out of your major signals, which ones are the best? And the answer is, out of the 50 or 60 candlestick signals, we've already narrowed down that the 12 major signals are the ones that not only produce the high probability reversals, but they're the ones that are occurring most frequently. And just a very simple analysis that if you can recognize a candlestick reversal signal and you understand what created that signal, now you've got the grasp of what moves prices the same as somebody that's been trading in the market for 50 years. It's just common sense put into a graphic depiction. So that was a long answer, a long description to say, you see a left-right combo, a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. That tells you something new is happening. Notice indecision, indecision, indecision. When did the indecision end? When you saw that left-right combo. We recommended buying calls on BAH not too long ago because there was a left-right combo. Stochastic starting to come up. It opened positive where you were buying. Why? Because we know the left-right combo by itself is probably one of your strongest reversal signals. And when they opened it positive, what was it telling us? Number one was confirming the left-right combo. Two was telling us the T-line was not acting as resistance. Three was telling us this downtrending channel is being breached. And what do we expect from here? Wave one, wave two, and a high probability reversal signal creating wave three. So the reason we're showing this is Jeff is going to be showing you different signals or patterns that we've already built into the MetaStock scanning software. But the one thing I profess to people is, out of the 18 major reversal signals, don't try to learn all of them. I mean, be familiar with all of them, but become an expert on the left-right combo or the best friend. Pick out 4 or 5. With 4 or 5 reversal signals and candlestick analysis, you're going to have more trades than you'll ever be able to handle. And when I say more trades than you'll ever be able to handle, that puts you in a position where you're going to have more good charts to constantly analyze to see which ones are the best, which means you're not just picking out something that looks good. You're picking out something from a group of good-looking reversals and identifying which one of those good ones are going to be the best one. So you're kind of cultivating the probabilities in your favor of being in very strong, I want to say, new trend or new buy situations. So the big benefit we have, or at least a big benefit for me, was I can now recognize where the probabilities are going to be greatly in my favor. So every time I put on a trade, I know that every trade is not going to work, but the probabilities are that they will work, number one. And number two, when they do work, they're going to have a significant rate of return. So each time I put on a trade, I mentally know I'm going to make money, which also puts me in a position which I didn't always consider, was the probabilities of a moving in the right direction is great. But if this turned around and kind of negated the signal, told me to be right back out of that trade and move on to something else. So it's always getting out of the old adage where you cut your losses short and let your profits run. The candlestick analysis does that very simply for you. Jeffrey, yes, there are scans, but they're I don't know whether they're built in. They're available. But when people ask what's the best scanning techniques or softwares, MetaStock's right there at the top of the list. Not only because you set up your scans, but because you can set up the scans just the way you want to, using not only the techniques that or the indicators that I use, which I try to keep fairly simple, but you can, there's so many good indicators on MetaStock that if you add something that's beneficial, you keep it on your charts. If it's not beneficial, you take it off and try something else. How often do you scan per day? Lee, that all depends on each person, what their trading technique is. If you're an intraday trader, you can be scanning as often as you want. All you have to do is hit refresh and see which new signals are setting up. How do you locate them? Jeffrey, that's probably a question you want to ask during the chat room during the day. The people that are trading off of the Thinkorswim. So that's Robert's using them, so that's the best way to. What is a left-right combo? That's a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. A doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. That combination not only produces high probability results of moving in the right direction, but also produces high probabilities that that new move will be fairly substantial. So knowing that, today, SGEN, I forgot to type it in here, did a left-right combo. And notice where it did this left-right combo. Right here at the point of this wedge. So if this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying immediately, because if they're breaking out of the wedge with a left-right combo, which we already know has a high probability of moving in the right direction as well as a strong direction, I should have put more of this on, you're going to have wave 1 and wave 3 being fairly substantial. This also works on the bearish side, yes. We're identifying bearish engulfing signals, or bearish haramis, or a bearish flutter kicker signal. So that's all part of your initial scan. Let me go up here even further. But if we're looking at a market trend like this, our first analysis is which way do we think the market indexes are moving? We're probably moving in a positive direction as long as it stays above the T-line. If that's the case, what do I want to be scanning for? The NASDAQ also staying above the T-line. I want to be scanning for bullish charts. Now, if we're starting to look like this, where the stochastics are rolling over and we're starting to see sell signals, then more than likely I'm scanning for the bearish trades. I forget where I was. Doji followed by a bearish engulfing candle is a bearish I just went mentally dead. A bearish left-right combo. Huh. That's what I get for drinking this early in the evening. So we did the okay. So this is the benefits of pattern identification is that we're looking for the patterns that are going to create much higher price moves than just merely an uptrending stock during an uptrend. So this one I would have on the recommended list in the members area tonight, that if this opens positive, you want to be buying immediately, because this wave right here was substantial. Then you had a sideways wedge. Now they're breaking to the upside of that wedge. That next wave should be fairly substantial. Is it okay to short stocks during an overall uptrend if the stock trend is down and given a bearish signal? Definitely. But we're trying to play the probabilities. So my trading technique or money management technique is that if I've got a portfolio, let's say worth $500,000, and I decide I'm going to have 10 positions on, then I'm going to have 10 $50,000 positions. The reason for that is I don't want to have my emotions involved in my trading, which is what my biggest faux pas has been through the years. So to keep as much of my emotions out of my trading, I'm making each position an equal dollar amount. The reason for that is now each position is one unit of my portfolio. It's SGEN, that's right. Oh, now I forgot what the question was. Oh, so can you have a short positions? Yes. So if I've got 10 positions on and I think the market's heading up, I may still have 2 short positions because the scans only take a matter of minutes each afternoon. If you don't know what you're doing, maybe it takes 20 minutes each afternoon to find the best trade setups for the next day. So right now in this market, I might have 8 long positions and 2 short positions. This one is SGEN. Yeah. All right. Not understanding the stock name in the left-right combo. Not understanding the stock name. The symbol is SGEN. I'm not even sure what the name of the stock is. So this is the reason why we recently recommended VNTR. Look where the morning star signal occurred, right smack dab off the 50-day moving average. NVIDIA. Look at where the piercing signal occurred at the major support level of the 50-day moving average. Look where the doji sandwich breakout occurred, right here at the resistance level. So understanding what each signal and where it occurs and what a doji sandwich or any of the major high, what we call top rank signals and patterns, that if we saw a doji right here with stochastics coming up, even if we hadn't bought this move, we knew because of the simple doji rule, which is the price is usually going to move in the direction of how they open after a doji, that if it opened positive, what did we expect in this candle? Probably about the same magnitude as this candle right here. And if that's the case, what did it tell us about our resistance level? It wasn't acting as resistance. We're now in a new uptrend. So these are all just pieces of evidence that we can apply, which I call 2 plus 2, that if you know you're in an uptrend and you know where the breakouts are going to occur, this one. We started buying right here, then it did a little J hook, and then we started buying again right here, because if this broke out, where do we expect this price move to go? Eventually, up into this trade trend trajectory. Did we expect it to get there in one day? Definitely not. But the nice thing about candlestick analysis is that when you're buying based upon what happens in human nature, that being in a position like this is greatly enhanced, or the probabilities are greatly enhanced, that you're going to be in the right place at the right time just because you're buying a chart pattern or recognize what the signals are telling you that gets you in at those places or gets you into those positions. So what we're going to do now is Jeff Gibby with MetaStock is going to show you how to use their software program for finding the different signals and patterns, how to utilize them. A J-hook pattern is different than a cup and handle. A cup and handle is sideways. A J-hook pattern, remember, has a prerequisite of a very strong price move. And then you get the J-hook starting up again. All right, so with that, let me take down my charts and where do you enter 12 through 3 on stochastics? Usually they'll ask, if you're setting up your chart, they'll show or ask you, or you click on a spot that shows stochastics, and then they have you put it in. The difference between a cup and handle and a fry pan is a cup and handle is where the fry pan kind of fails and then pulls back and then does the next little loop back up, comes your handle. So if the fry pan bottom doesn't break out, if this came up here like this and failed and pulled back and then came back up, that would have been your cup and handle. Neil, I can't pull up charts. Okay, Jeff, let me do this. Okay, take down my charts. And all right, good. Everybody, Jeff.
Guys, how is everybody today? I hope you're doing well. It's good to be here. I'm going to intro myself just a little bit, talk about who I am. Not too long. So my name is Jeff Gibby. I've worked with MetaStock this March. In just about 10 days, it'll be my 23rd year at MetaStock, if you can believe that. It's a great company to work for. I very much enjoyed working here. And right now my title is Director of Sales and Marketing. Or actually, it's just Director of Sales. I keep adding the marketing on accident, but it is actually just Director of Sales. It's been a very good company to work for. I absolutely, like I said, enjoy it. For the better part of a decade, if you had a question about MetaStock, I was a sales representative here. You could call me. I'd talk to you a little bit about what you were doing and you know, help you understand if MetaStock is good for you. For about 10 or 12 years, I actually was in charge of our business development globally. And that's where I met Steve. Steve and I have been doing business together for, I think, 7 or 8 years. And I will tell you that the product that we've designed with Steve, it took a year or two to actually put together. And it is one of the products that I am most proud of. We did such a good job with this thing. And we're on our second version of it. We added a few things. I'll talk to you a little bit about what those are. But I'm very proud of this product. It's been our most successful one-time third-party add-on product for MetaStock for several years in a row. I think it's ever since we released it, if I'm going to be frank about it. I had 2 of my friends actually review this. Dennis Peterson was a great guy. He deceased a couple years ago, but he did a review in Stocks and Commodities magazine where he praised it. When we released CPS version 2.0, Barbara Starr, if you're familiar with her, very nice lady. She did a review on it as well, and another glowing review. So, in general, what I'd have to say about this particular product is it's been very successful. And I'll also say that, like, some of the stands and some of the patterns that we're looking at today are ones that I use in my own trading. I feel very, very lucky to be associated with Steve, his stuff, the stuff that he does, and Steve and I had the opportunity to do quite a bit of traveling together, so I really learned about the methodologies that he teaches, and I feel very lucky to know him. So we'll just leave it at that for now. I won't bore you with the legal disclaimer. You guys know Steve well enough here. Great guy, very funny. I think he should go back to telling a few more jokes during his presentations. But absolutely love Steve and kind of the impact that he's had on me personally with my trading and professionally with a very, very successful product. So, in any case, that product is the Candle Profit System version 2.0. And in it, what we basically did for MetaStock, and if you're not familiar with MetaStock, I'll talk a little bit about what it is as we're getting going. But in it, it identifies all of these multiple day patterns that you can see right here on the screen. So you've got your fry pan, your bullish, your bearish belt holds, your dumpling tops, your cradles, your left-right combos, your left-right bearish combos, your doji sandwiches, your muffins. All of these are included in this one packaging. I know what happened to the penguin, right? Or the ice hole. Or the Indians, right? Right? Yeah, I think we need to kind of start a petition to bring the jokes back. In any case, yeah, okay, so those are the multiple day patterns. Here are the single day patterns. So in addition to all of those multiple day patterns, these are the single day patterns that are going to be identified as well. And they're available as part of 7 explorations. Let's go ahead and kind of show you just how this works in MetaStock. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to MetaStock. My screen view should actually go into here. And what we've got is, I actually was looking a little bit at this crude chart, but I promised to actually look at AMD. So I'm going to actually swap over to AMD. And with MetaStock, I can just do that simply by typing in the symbol. So I'll go ahead and type in AMD. And I believe we need to do .o. So just to kind of show you, we've got my instrument search. It popped over on my other screen here. But what I've got is actually the AMD chart. We'll go ahead and open this up, and we'll kind of just show you exactly the patterns that form up here and how those are identified automatically on a chart for you. So if we're looking at AMD right here, this is a daily chart. If we wanted to switch to a bit of a different periodicity, we can go ahead and click down to like an hourly or a weekly or a monthly. Let's go ahead and pop this into a weekly format. So I'm going to do that. It's going to go ahead and grab the data for me. Hopefully that wasn't a mistake. Hopefully it'll grab the data quickly. It did. And now we're looking at an hourly chart of AMD. Okay, and so you see on an hourly basis, was this today? This was, 10 a.m. this morning. We had a J-hook pattern, and that really rallied into the afternoon. In fact, this thing took off. Okay. Here you had a bit of a bearish doji sandwich. Here you had a bit of a doji best friend. And all of these are just automatically labeled on the chart for you. Kojo says, I can see your chart. Good, good. Right here you had a little bit of a left-right bearish combo. All of these are just automatically labeled. Okay. You'll notice anytime that we have a blue highlight on the chart, it's going to be a pattern that you can see. Okay, and so this is just identified for you. The charts are automatically set up with all of Steve's moving averages, the stochastics that he likes to use. It's a very, very complete package. One of the things I really, really like about, Kojo says, I can't see your chart. Can the rest of you see my chart? Let's try this again. I'm seeing it in I have a few people that are saying they can't see the chart. Oh, okay. Dave says, I can only see it in full screen mode. Okay, and we're getting a lot of yes. Okay, so I guess my recommendation is if you can't see the chart, click on the button that says full screen mode. It should be at the top of your application. You won't be able to see my pretty face anymore, but you'll be able to see the chart, and that's probably more important anyway. So in any case, there you go. The other thing I like to show, so these are just automatically identified. They're labeled. They're put on the chart for you. Ray says I had to resize. Okay. All right. So if you resize it a little bit, or if you go full screen, you'll be able to see the chart. So there we go. A lesson that we've learned. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this J-hook pattern, because one of the things that Steve and I worked pretty extensively on is I actually went through a lot of the courses that he was selling and the courses that where he talks about these patterns. And what we did is we actually, Jeffrey says you have a good face for the radio. Well, thank you. I guess. One of the things that we worked on with this was the ability for us to go in and actually identify what those patterns means and explain them to you in real time. So anytime you see one of these blue highlights, it's going to actually have a pattern that you can look at commentary with. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and show you what that looks like. What I'm going to go ahead and do is view expert commentary. And you'll notice as soon as I do that, there's going to be a little triangle right here on the chart. You should be able to see there's the hard right edge of the chart. There's no pattern that exists on the hard right edge of the chart. Oh, there is, actually. This thing, there's a doji at that very last bar. And you can see that there's a little bit of an explanation for you here. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. I can actually just scroll in it a little bit so that you can see it. But it's basically just telling you, hey, this is a doji. A doji is formed on the current bar. A doji is represented when the opening and closing prices are virtually the same. Okay? This represents indecisions between the buyers and the sellers. A series of dojis represents major indecision. Traders should wait for the decisive move before trading, as dojis are likely to be present in both continuation and reversal patterns. So there is actually a little bit of advice on that day. Unfortunately, but I do want to look at kind of the advice that we give on this kind of multiple pattern day. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click right on the multiple pattern day. So we'll click right here on this J-hook. Okay. So now we're looking at 10 a.m. This would be visible at 10 a.m. As soon as this pattern formed on the chart, it's going to tell us that it existed. And now what it's going to tell us, I'm going to scroll in a little bit here, is the long positions may be taken upon spotting this bullish confirmation following a period of flat trading. The visual pattern forms after a stronger than normal uptrend, followed by several days of indecisive selling. As prices turn slightly positive, they begin forming the J. So basically it's saying we're looking for a J-type pattern. pattern on the chart. So automatically these are going to be identified, but what we want to really talk about is how do we scan for them, okay? And with MetaStock, and I promised to tell you a little bit about MetaStock, so I'm going to sprinkle some of that in here, just to kind of give you a little bit of idea of what MetaStock is. MetaStock's a software company that we developed that's been in business since 1980-something. Like, I think it was 1982, but I'm not sure. I'm going to say 1980-something. For the last 25 years in a row, it's been rated the best-selling rated number one by the readers, so not the editors, and they don't pay us because we advertise in their magazine and that kind of stuff. But the readers of Stocks and Commodities every year have voted it the best software in this price category. And the reason people like it is because of things like the expert advisor, the expert commentary, but more importantly, how easy it is to actually go in and find the patterns that you're interested in. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how that works. I'm going to go ahead and go into what we call the Power Console. So there's this little P button on the chart. It's going to open up on the wrong screen, so I'm going to bring it over here onto the right screen. And right here, what we've got is charting, and that's kind of, we've been looking at charts. We've been looking at charts with the expert advisor. Right here, what we've got is the Explorer. Okay, it's market scanning. We call it the Explorer. We've also got a system tester. If you want to test trading ideas, you can do that. We won't talk a lot about that today, but it is a tool that's available in MetaStock. It's a very, very good tool. And we also have our patent-pending forecaster. But for today, what we're really going to talk about is really how these scans are ran together. I just want to be clear with you, there's a lot of stuff. We've been working on MetaStock since the 80s, right? There's a reason it's been rated number one for 25 years. So in any case, to do a scan, I'm just going to come in here to the scanner. And what I've got here is in my favorite scans, and these always stay in my favorite scans. Like I said, this is a product I actually use in my own trading. Okay, and what I've got here is I've got all of the CPS scans actually ready to go. Okay, there's a couple that I'm going to call out to you in terms of what they do, because you won't be running these on a daily basis. They're more to kind of set up lists, and that's exactly what I use them for. Okay. So this universe scan, for example, and the universe oversold scan, the real reason that they exist is so periodically, and I do it probably about once a quarter, you can go through your list and filter out all the stocks that don't meet the criteria for stocks that you should be trading. And with Steve, he has a pretty specific rule that if it's below $5 or if it doesn't have an average volume of 200,000 shares, then you shouldn't be trading it. So why would we scan against it every day if we don't really even care if there's a pattern on it? So what I do is every quarter, so I'll go in, I'll run this exploration, and I'll get a list of just the stocks that kind of fit my criteria. Okay? In addition to that, there's a universe oversold scan. It does the same thing. It looks for stocks that it filters out all the stocks that are under $5, do not have an average volume of $200,000, so it does the same thing. But in addition, it looks for them to be in an oversold condition. So you can run that one as well if you want. Okay. The other ones are all just pattern scans. So if we go back to that list that I was showing you real quickly earlier, here's the multiple day patterns. We've kind of categorized them. You've got your price patterns right here. You've got your Doji Dynamites right here. You've got your power signals, and you've got your J-hook patterns here. So these are the different categories that you use. In addition to that, with the 2.0 version, we added all these single bar signals that you can use as a scan as well. Okay. Jai asks, when is a good time to exit these trades? And I think it's better that you get that information from Steve, but I will kind of give you a bit of an idea on kind of like a rule of thumb. And we have some information that's in this explorations or in the expert commentary as well. A lot of times it'll say, if the price goes down below the entry bar, then you'll want to get out of it. But as a general rule of thumb, if a stock's kind of moving up at a moderate pace, starts to go sideways, and closes below your T-line, which is an 8-period exponential moving average, that's a clear indication that you want to get out of the market. I think Steve would agree with that. I don't like trying to tell people how to use Steve's rules in front of Steve in case I get them wrong. So, in any case, all of these particular patterns, your multiple day patterns and your single bar patterns, are scans that we can select from that Power Console. So if I come back in here, If I hover over, here's the Doji Dynamite scan. If I wanted to find stocks that had let's say a Doji best friend today, I could just put a check mark in there. I run it against a daily basis, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it against my pre-filtered list, okay? Or you could select as many of these patterns. You could run them all at the same time if you just wanted to build a big list, okay? But basically, you just select the scan or the scans that you want to run, the list that you want to run it against. So to get to this list, what I did is I'm an option trader. I like to trade options. I ran the 5,000 optionable stocks against the universe scan. It came up with 2496 stocks, and those are the scans that I run every day. And in the recorded training, I actually show you exactly how to do that. The recorded training that comes along with that, I actually sit down for about, I think it was 45 minutes, and show you step by step how to do everything. Okay, but for today, what I'll do is I've just run this Doji Dynamite. So you select the one that you want to run. One of my favorite patterns is actually the Doji Best Friend and the Doji at the top. So I'll go ahead and select that. I select what I want to scan it against, and I just go ahead and click the Start Exploration button. One of the things that I do want to point out is we get our data from Refinitiv. If you're not familiar with Refinitiv, they just rebranded from Thomson Reuters. Okay. It's a $19 billion a year company. We get all of our data from them. So it doesn't matter if you're here in the U.S. and you want to trade U.S. instruments, if you're in India and you want to trade Indian instruments, if you're in Australia and want to trade Australian instruments, or wherever you might be. With MetaStock, just to kind of give you an idea, we cover about 200 global markets. So you can run this against anything that you want to, okay? And just to give you an idea, I'll just kind of drill into Asia, kind of give you an idea of what's covered in Asia. You've got Australia, you've got Bombay, you've got Bursa, you've got Colombo. There's roughly, actually not roughly, there's exactly 382,697 shares that you can look at. And we do cover all of the major stock markets, 200 exchanges, all of the futures markets. So you can use this with futures if you want. I was looking at a beautiful chart on crude a little bit earlier today. You can use it on currencies. You can really apply this to just about anything that you want. Okay, but let me show you. Exactly how this would work. T asks, did you create that local data list, or does it come standard with MetaStock? T, that's a really good question. Actually, that is my own public local data list, but I do show you in the training exactly how to put that together and how to save it off to a list. And if you run into any issues doing that from the training, let me know and I'll help you out, or have one of our support reps actually help you out. What we've got here, so I'm going to just go ahead and show you the report and kind of how it looks. Again, it opened up on my non-primary scan. I'm going to go ahead and move it over here so you can see it. But here we've got kind of what the exploration report comes back as. So you've got your Doji at the top. It's right here. And so if I sort this, if it has a 1 in this column, that basically just means it has that pattern. So if we were looking for Doji at the top, Amgen and British American Tobacco would be good ones to go ahead and take today. You've got your Doji Best Friend. Okay, so there's 2 of those today. There's the Orco Health and Turkcell, whatever. I'm not even going to try and read that. You've got your left-right bullish, your left-right bearish, your series of bearish, your series of bullish. So you can very, very easily find exactly the pattern that you want. It only will appear in this list. You'll notice out of those 2,500 or so stocks that I scanned, there's exactly 2,432 of them I don't even care about because they don't have the patterns that I'm looking for. In fact, most of the time when I'm looking for a pattern, I'm looking for a Doji Best Friend. So in that case, I've narrowed down my list of 2,400 to 2, and if I like those trades, I'll go ahead and take them. If I don't like them, I'll maybe look at the Doji at the tops. Okay? Does it show the symbol name? It does. So if I scroll over a little bit here, it gives you a stochastic reading, it gives you the close value, and it gives you that symbol name right here. So it does show you that. Great question, Dave. Thank you for asking it. Okay? So that's really how it works. It's very, very simple. And it's designed to be that way. So let me go ahead and kind of just basically talk to you a little bit about how it works here. So again, here's a list of those are the 7 scans that are available. You've got your Doji Dynamites. last time somebody asked me what the major patterns means, and we just made up a name for the single day patterns. Those are where all the single day patterns, like your dojis are, that kind of stuff. You've got your J-hook, you've got your power signals, you've got your price patterns, and you've got those universe and universe oversold scans. And you just run the ones that you want. Okay. I already showed you what this looks like on Amgen, so you get an idea of, how the charts actually show up on the chart, how the commentary appears on the right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, just a listing of the patterns again. Okay. So all in all, it includes 6 explorations, the expert advisor to give you the signals and actually give you that real-time commentary. You've got 3 layouts, which just means it's different combinations of charts you can look at. And in addition, what I did, because this was so popular, is we sat down and we recorded a 40-minute video to actually walk you through, okay, here's what you want to do first. Here's how you look at the charts. Here's how you make sure you're opening it up with the Bigelow template. Here's how you run your scans. Here's how you set up your pre-filter list. Just step by step to make sure everybody, that it was clear. And it's about a 40-minute video that I recorded. It's a live broadcast when we initially did it. And now it's available immediately from your My Downloads page. Okay? So normally with the Candle Profit systems, again, this has been the most popular one-time cost add-on we've had for MetaStock for the last 5 years in a row. Okay? Normally it's $499. We back that with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It includes, if you have the older version, you can get an upgrade for a very insignificant cost. I thank you for buying the first one. But it includes access for that $399. What we're going to do is we're going to include a month access of MetaStock. You can go with like a real-time version of MetaStock or our daily chart version of MetaStock. We just include that for free. You get access to that boot camp, which I was telling you about, where we give you all of the getting started videos. We give you that special class that I recorded to kind of help you understand how everything works. And we back it with a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's a new thing that we've started to do that's been really, really popular, where we actually do what we call a white glove service installation appointment. And so what that means is when you get set up, the representative that you're working with is actually going to set up a time for one of our training coaches to give you a call and walk you step by step through the training, the installation of the program. They'll help you get the program installed. They'll help you get the add-on installed, and they'll just walk you through that process and make sure everything's ready to go. So there you go. You can take advantage of that in a couple of different ways. You can give us a call at 800-882-3040, or you can give us visit us online at metastock.com/candlestick4MA, or you can even chat with one of our sales reps. We have quite a few reps that are available tonight. You can talk to them right now by phone at 800-882-3040, or if you can chat online with them at metastock.com/saleschat. Stan asked a really good question. So for the MetaStock Candlestick pattern systems, it's a one-time cost. So once you pay for it, you own it. You don't have to pay for it ongoing. Now it is an add-on to MetaStock, and we give you a subscription to MetaStock as part of that. But after a month, you'll pay about $59 a month for the MetaStock software program. So there is some subscription, but that's pretty much it is. Pat, thank you. That was such a nicer comment than the one about the face for radio comment. David asked the question. There's actually a couple of questions that are coming in, and if I miss them, please. Yes, Jeffro, the subscription does include data. So you pick the region that you're interested in, the regions that are. You guys have great questions too. I missed one earlier that I'm going to go back to, and if I miss yours, ask it again, because I have like 3 questions that show at the same time, and everything else is kind of scrolled off the screen. So what basically that you look for is when you sign up is you'll say North America, Asia Pacific, or the other region is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So you just select the interest, your data region that you want to go with for your trial. You can select multiple regions if you want, but that'll include all the stocks, all the futures, all the indexes, and Forex data in that data package. So yes, thank you for asking. That does include the data. Okay. SD also asked the question, can you run a stochastic divergence? I assume that you want to run a stochastic divergence exploration. And one of the things that I love about MetaStock is you can create any scan that you want if you want to sit down and learn the formula language. The other thing that we offer as a service is you can hire one of our programmers here at MetaStock to actually write a scan for you. And most of the time, the cost for that is, guess how much it costs to hire a programmer? Quite a bit, right? $35 at MetaStock. So they'll write a simple scan for you. It'll cost you about $35, and you can put it together. If you want to go in and drill in and learn the language, it's actually very, very easy to do. I have a sales background, but I've learned how to code into MetaStock probably better, very, very well, simply because it's very, very easy environment to code for. So those are the options for you with that. Frank asked the question, no, is MetaStock, no, is no. Frank asked the question, is MetaStock also a brokerage? The answer to that is no. What we've always focused on, they say focus on what you're good at, right? So what we've always focused on is the ability to give you the best analysis software. And we're proud of the fact that it's been rated #1 for like 25 years in a row. Okay? BE says, I paid for a 3-month lease with Steve Bigelow's add-on. I had it for a week before I got system to download properly, and I have not had the white glove session scheduled. BE, I want you to email me directly because one of the things that we're very proud of, and I'm glad you came and asked that question. Number one, thank you for using MetaStock. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that you didn't have a scheduled session. If you'll email me tomorrow, I will get in touch with you and we will set up that question. Bill and maybe a couple of other people have actually asked, is it compatible with Mac? The answer to that is sort of. So it is a Windows product. It'll only run on a Windows operating system. The thing is like if you run Parallels in a Windows operating system on your Mac, it works beautifully on a Mac. So it is sort of compatible with Mac, but you have to have Windows. So one of the things Steve says, MetaStock customer service is by far the best in the industry. I agree with that wholeheartedly. One of the things we actually pride ourselves in is the fact that we have more people on our support desk than we have in sales and marketing put together. I think we have more programmers than we have support staff, but that's just so we can design really cool features. But we really like to brag about that, and usually like a week doesn't go by where we don't have somebody telling me how much they like our support staff. So in any case. TJ asked, does MetaStock allow you to create your own scripting formulas? I think you asked that a little bit early, or I think I answered that a little bit, but you can create your own indicators, you can create your own explorations, you can create your own system tests, and that's one of the things I love about MetaStock. It's something that is fairly easy to kind of get involved with, but it's never something that you're going to outgrow. It's really a toolbox, and it will grow with you as a trader. You won't grow out of it as a trader. Okay. T-Zag says, are there recorded Candlestick seminars I can watch to learn more about the system? I would go to youtube.com/MetaStock and subscribe to our channel. We do seminars all the time. We've done a ton of them with Steve. In fact, our most viewed video on youtube.com/MetaStock, see how I snuck that URL in there again, is Steve Bigelow's video. It's been viewed over 1 million times now. Stella Alex says, please repeat one more time the monthly cost. So to get MetaStock and to get data on an end-of-day basis, it'll cost you $59. If you go with the real-time, it'll cost you about $250. There's been some questions about, like, does it work with TC2000 data? The answer for that is yes. And depending on kind of like what your scenario is, it may be better for you to do a one-time purchase of MetaStock after your trial period. So what I would recommend is go ahead and sign up for the trial. Sign up for either the real-time or the end-of-day package. If it helps you make money and you like it and it's useful for you, keep it. Otherwise, we offer the 30-day money-back guarantee. And that's why I like to do the trial subscription so you can try it out, because after that we can figure out the best way to go with you. Okay? It doesn't work with Linux. Sorry about that. How often do you need to hire a programmer to do the scanning? Well, that's just if you want something custom built. So if you wanted to do like stochastic divergence, like I believe the gentleman was asking earlier, then you'd hire a programmer and he'd do the scanning for you and he'd charge you $35, right? It wouldn't be until you wanted another standard that you'd kind of go in there and kind of get a programmer as well. Still, you're welcome. Somebody was asking earlier, and I meant to show this, but he asked me to show you the process one more time in terms of how to run the scan. I'm going to do that quickly, but it doesn't take much time. So I'm going to show you two processes in MetaStock real quick. The first is how do you open up your charts and attach the expert advisor. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on our Power Console here. I'm going to go to the Chart tab, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'll type in, we'll look at CLC1 real quick. This is a really good looking chart that I was looking at today. We'll open it up on whatever interval you want. I'm going to use daily. You apply the template. This is one is called CPS Bigelow Chart View. I'll go ahead and click on Open, and that'll open the chart with all of the indicators that are available. Okay? It'll automatically put those symbols on the chart for you in terms of we just had a really, really good doji sandwich just a few days ago, right before this kind of upward movement. This expert commentary will not be visible by default, so you just click on View Expert Commentary, and that'll pop up in that window, which you can dock off to the side. To run the exploration, just go back into that Power Console again, click on the Explore button, choose the scan that you want to run. I chose CPS Doji Dynamite. Choose the list that you want to run it against. So I did my local data pre-filtered list, and just click on the Start Exploration button right here, and that's the only thing that you need to do for that. Okay, that's it. You could, as long as you're running Windows, you should be able to run it. What I will kind of caution you about is if they run in, our support team will say, we'll do the best they can help you with if in case if they run into issues. So they'll treat it like a normal installation, a normal thing. If they run into issues that we haven't tested and can't fix, there is a little bit of a risk, but it's only a little bit of a risk. That's the thing I really like about this offer. You know, as a trader, we're always looking for that no risk total reward offer, right? So with this one, you pay $399. You try the best add-on that we've created in MetaStock. It's been the most popular add-on for the last 5 years straight, right? You get to try the software that's been rated #1 in its price category for like 25 years in a row, and if you don't like it, you get them your money back. So it's a low risk. The only thing that you're really risking is some time, and it'll be worth it for you to invest that time in it, especially because we're going to help you get everything set up. We're going to set up that white glove treatment. We're going to make sure that everything gets installed for you. We've got all the videos. And if you ever have any questions, you can always chat online or call our support team. And again, they're one of they're so good at what they do. And so anyway, the reason I like it here, when I started, I'll tell you this. When I started, I was like, this is a pretty good job. I'm enjoying it. I see myself here for about 2 or 3 years. That's 23 years ago. So it's been a great opportunity for us. But it's such a close-knit. Everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction. You're not going to call somebody that's like super disgruntled but really doesn't want to help you, doesn't want to talk to you, is located in India, whatever that might be. You're somebody that's going to be able to help you. And somebody that cares about what you're doing. So, in any case. So to take advantage of that, to give us a try, 800-882-3040, or visit us online at metastock.com/candlestick4MA. Oh, Rob, you've asked that question a couple times. I'm glad you asked it again. There are so we have about, I want to say 6 coins that are available, and I'm going to try and recite them here. You've got Bitcoin, you've got Bitcoin Lite, you've got Ethereum, you've got Litecoin, and you have Bitcoin Cash. I can't remember the last one. So those are the cryptos that are available from the Refinitiv, the old Thomson Reuters data feed. Greg R., thank you for using MetaStock. I love it too. I want to learn exploration coding. Is there a resource I can go to? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me jump over there real quick, and I'm just going to open up an internet browser. I'm going to try and open, let me see if I can. Okay, good. Here we go. I'll put this on the right page. I'll show you, I don't know the exact link to get here, so I'll show you how to navigate here. If you just go to metastock.com, I need to open up this room again. If you go to metastock.com and you click on, I believe it's support right here, and go to, is it resources? I think it's resources. Here's a big collection of custom formulas you can just copy and paste into MetaStock. Here's where you can request that we write a formula or a system test or an expert advisor for you. Right here, there's a formula primer. If we click on that, there's actually two PDFs that William put together. William he's actually the person that wrote all the coding for Steve, both in version 1 and version 2. And you can read these online for free. You can go do it right now. You can also come in here, and there's some videos to help you get started, which didn't load for some reason. Now they are. I just hit refresh, and they came in. There's a couple of videos that will actually show you kind of how to get started as well if you prefer that. Okay. Jeffrey says, it's a nice thing about Parallels on Mac. You can use Parallels Access on a phone or a tablet to connect. So you could even run MetaStock on your iPhone or Android. The phone technology is almost getting good enough to actually probably power MetaStock, as long as you don't get too crazy with it as well. So the cost of the software, CC, thank you for asking. Thanks for your interest. So the cost of the Candle Profit Systems 2.0 is normally $4.99. It's $3.99 here as a special for coming to the webinar, and the cost of MetaStock starts at $59 per month. Great, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you again for being interested. I'm just doing my job here, so I really appreciate your interest in the software. So, in any case, I don't see any more questions. I'm going to give a count to 10. Yeah, hopefully you're a fast typer if you have any more left. Other than that, I want to say thanks to Steve. He does, like I said, I'm really happy with Steve. I consider Steve a buddy, a friend, a mentor. I love you, Steve. I want to thank you guys for coming here, spending some time with me. And I'm going to go home and play with my girls, my children. Let me say it that way so that there's no misconceptions about that. I'll see you. Yes, you can do backtesting in MetaStock. Stan, I'll say that with the backtesting in MetaStock is fairly unique. I haven't seen anything quite like it. You can take a methodology, you can test it, or you can take multiple methodologies, and you can test it against a whole list of stocks. So you can do a complete kind of folder type of a backtest to see not only how well something works on like Apple, for example, but how well it works on like 2,400 stocks at once. So it gives you an idea of how well balanced the stock is over a set of instruments. It also allows you to narrow in, because when I'm trading, what I want to be able to do is focus the best ideas against the best stocks. And with most of the testers that are out there, you'd say, okay, I want to test Apple. And you can test multiple methodologies, but you can't test more than one stock at a time. And there's so much data that you miss out on that. All right, guys. I'll see you at the next one. Thanks for having me. Thanks again, Steve. And we'll see you at the next one.